What is the clear sign that someone liked you, but you didn't realize until later? 7th grade me, sitting on school computer playing RuneScape, because of course I was. Girl I had a crush on sits on my lap. Proceeds to say I need a girlfriend, because of course I did. A Christian one, while twiddling the cross around her neck. Sorry babe. Ulvergeisen going to slay himself. Now I'm an alcoholic. She yelled date me after I walked away from her one time. I thought she was joking. Man, lately I'm just so horny all the time. I wish I were joking. We were watching TV at our house, just us on the couch, and some character in the show said something I can't even remember now, and she said to me if we ever have a sex. That's how I'm going to describe it. I think I just chuckled and said oh really? And that was pretty much it. We hung out a few more times and didn't do anything, and eventually she ghosted me and moved to another town. I'm a ducking idiot. There are 4 reasons why someone would be staring at your face for a prolonged period of time. 1. You look like someone they know, and they're trying to figure it who. 2. You have an interesting feature on your face or are shockingly ugly. 3. You are directly in front of them, and they're zoned out. 5. You are attractive to them. Cute friend. Do you have a girlfriend? Me. Nah. Cute friend. Are you dating someone? Me. Nope. Not really. Cute friend. Wow. If you asked me out, I would date you. Me. Huh. Thanks. Okay bye. Fast forward to a few years later. Me. Hol up. There was this Domino's pizza stand at the community college I went to. Nothing fancy. They just had a couple pizzas in hot bags below the counter and would charge like $2 a slice. Then pack it up and leave when they ran out. Anyways, this pretty cute girl was usually working it, and I'd sit at a table right in front of it because there weren't usually a ton of people around and I could play on my phone or do homework. Of course, I'd get a slice of pizza or 2 and eat while I sat there. We ended up chatting every day I was there, just shooting the it. Nothing special. After a while she started throwing an extra slice on my plate when I ordered, and eventually she stopped charging me at all. Of course, my young, oblivious self with no self-esteem was just like, sweet, free food and someone to chat with. Towards the end of the semester we were talking one day and she told me that they weren't gonna be doing the stand the following semester. I was just like, damn, that sucks, and asked her what was gonna happen. This poor girl practically begged me to make a move, but I was just too ducking stupid to see it. I was talking about the pizza stand with a buddy of mine years later who started at that JUCO after the stand was gone. I was telling the story and my interactions with this girl and was like, yeah, she was super cool and used to give me free pizza, and I stopped mid-sentence and looked at nothing in particular and said, oh my god, she had a crush on me. If you're out there, Northwest Ms. Domino's girl, I'm so sorry I was so ducking dense. It wasn't anything against you. I'm just really goddamn dumb. She asked to bake brownies with me. She sent me bikini pics and a side boob pic showing her new tattoo. She asked to make chocolate covered fruit with me. Called me to go out to eat with her on campus multiple times. I thought she was just being a nice friend. Update. We are actually engaged now. Reading these comments has reminded me that nobody has ever liked me in that manner. This was way back in high school a good 20 years ago. She asked me and my buddy to walk her to her car, and while we were walking, she sidled up to me and grabbed my hand. We walked hand in hand all the way to her car. She said she's gotta go home or something, and so naturally I said something like okay, drive safe, then amble away like a ducking carrot. My buddy is looking at me dumbfounded, slack-jawed. He chewed me out good, said something like what is wrong with you? I assured him that friends often hold hands, and it probably didn't mean anything. If she reads this, sorry for being such a dunce. A different girl, a couple years older than me, asked me to the prom, and I basically said nah, I don't think I'll ever go to the prom. I was certain she wanted to go as friends. That one I did realize and apologize for, because a friend of hers confronted me later saying it was humiliating. I was, and remain, completely oblivious to human interaction sometimes. Dawn. That was her name. Met her in college as we were in a class together. If you were all watching us like a TV show, you'll be screaming at me at all the damn signs she was giving me. I was oblivious to every damn one of them. Part of the reason is I felt a bit disoriented after serving in the Navy for 4 years, putting me older than most other students, and another because I never, ever would think a girl would be that interested in me. The worst part about all of this, she told me the last day of the semester before she left the college for one closer to home. Her words, exactly, "I loved you the first day I met you because you seemed so different, charming, and grown up. But I hated you didn't see how much I loved you. Here's another token of that love." Then she leaned up, kissed and hugged me, and left crying, making it hurt even worse as I actually liked her too. She was cute, smart, and caring. I don't have regrets in my life, but my goodness, I so ducking wish a time machine were real so I could undo the hurt this girl went through at my expense. I still remember you, Dawn, even after all these years. That's how much you meant to me. I got a good one. I was in college and I was attracted to this girl with a huge behind. We all went out with a group of friends. She said out loud, "He don't know how to handle all of this," with a smile and look right at me. Then my dumb ass said, "I sure don't," and turned and talked to the other guys. Damn, I blew that one night. She asked me to prom. Still didn't pick up on it. Girl lived across the hall in my college dorm. She came over in just her new push-up bra to see what I thought of it. He borrowed one of my notebooks, and when he returned it, it was full of silly drawings. Apparently I didn't pay much attention to them, and responded by drawing a picture of him getting a drumstick shoved up his butt. Maybe a full decade later I noticed that one of his drawings was stick person him kissing stick person me. Turns out we'd both had crushes on each other. We would have made, like, the best couple, but our self-esteem was too low to think the other person liked us back. I wish I could provide a cute ending, but nah, we married other people and didn't find out until a few years afterwards. Not that it's a bad thing at all, but I am sad for my high school self. TLDR, he drew a picture of him kissing me in my notebook. My dumbass responded with a drawing of him getting a drumstick shoved up his butt. Posted this as an answer to another question. I'll copy it here so you can share the misery. Dude here, roommate had introduced me to a woman who said she wanted to get to know me. On several occasions we're in the backyard, watching a movie and having a bonfire. She's got her legs across my lap, her one arm across my chest, and the other behind me, her head on my shoulder looking at me with the most obvious kiss me eyes anyone could have. My dumbass decides to ask what? Why are you looking at me like that? And goes back to watching the movie, now engaged, with a kid. Of course, not me, to a guy who knew the signs. A girl I had a crush on wanted me to hide in a closet with her in her bedroom to scare her friend. Waited in there for like 10 minutes and her friend never came into her house. I think she wanted me to make a move. When she said, "Yay, my boobs are big, you can grab them," I wouldn't care. I laughed. WTF. My mom always told me to marry this one girl from high school. I told her about it and she was like, "Oh, wow, that's totally crazy, right? Would that ever happen?" And I was like, "No, we are too good of friends." Girl was like, "So not even a chance?" Didn't realize she was crushed until college. She would always find an excuse to sit close to me. After work, she needed a ride home. I let her drive my car because she wanted to drive a stick. She drove me to some secluded spot that only could have been described as McKirrot Point. I had to be somewhere, so I drove her home. Yes, this is all real. I was at a high school dance. I really wanted to dance with my crush and was preparing to ask her. Then a girl from her group of friends came to me and asked me for a dance. I danced with her and then she casually asked me who I had a crush on. We were friends so it wasn't weird. I proxed to tell her. When we finished dancing I asked my crush. She said no in front of all her and my friends. I cried in the bathroom. When I composed myself I went and enjoyed the night further. I had noticed the girl I danced with first was crying but I didn't think much of it because I was with my guy friends at the time. Thinking back I realized I crushed her heart. While talking in a group, they pay the most attention to you and try to ask for small favors. Once a girl took me to my favorite tea place, bought it for me, then we went thrifting and she bought me buttons in a jar, and I still didn't get it lol. and she like sat very close to me and even wrapped her arm around my shoulders, but nope, her efforts failed so hard. She cornered me at a house party 10 years later and called me an idiot for not being able to recognize that everyone she's dated since middle school happened to be a close friend of mine during the time period. I still think that's a pretty indirect course to chart. She could have just asked me out and I would have said yes. The only reason I turned my computer on today was to see if you'd emailed me. In my defense, I had asked her out a few times already, but she had told me she was busy each time. I took what I thought was the hint, but I later found out she had legitimately been busy each time. Unfortunately, by then she had already started dating the guy she's now married to. Picture this. I'm a shy girl in high school. There's this cute guy that always want to walk me home, talk to me after school. I find it weird, especially because I live super close to the school. It's not a long walk and it's not on his way. Because I'm shy and awkward and I don't understand why he wants to talk to me. I always try to leave school super fast so he doesn't find me. Fast forward 3 years later, sitting in a uni class, I realized that I was a socially awkward idiot. In high school, she was gorgeous. She ended up wearing my leather jacket and said I was mysterious and hot. I just thought she was being nice. Sigh. I was way too shy to do anything about it. My now husband asked if I wanted to hang out and I just thought he was being friendly. His best friend later asked me why I shot him down and I was like, I am a working single mom and he's a sweetheart, but I don't have time for a new friend. I love talking to you guys when you come in. He responds with, oh, I thought you were into him. My bad. That's when it dawned on my stupid ass he wanted to hang out to get to know me better in a romantic sense. His friend saw the realization dawn on me and lost his it laughing and gave me the phone number, and 16 years later we are still hanging out. They want to spend time with you. People don't realize this. Think about it. If there's someone out there you don't care about seeing or hanging out with, you'll find reasons not to do it because there are other things you want to do with your time. If someone continues to want to hang out with you and see you, it's because they enjoy the time they spend with you. Making a beeline to sit on my lap on multiple nights out, repeatedly asking for my help with buying stuff on eBay, inviting me specifically to a party at the end of our first year at uni. Those are just the ones I remember in hindsight. Teenage me was about as attentive as a concrete bollard. All the more annoying since she was just the right sort of quirky and weird, and I'd have been all about her in a heartbeat if I'd realized. In college I was in a girl's apartment at 3 AM and she said, "Duck, I'm really horny right now," and I do not. My response was, "Nice to meet you, horny. I'm name." If someone texts you every day, you know. My lizard brain had a 3-month brain fart and did not realize till it was too late. Now it's too late. She is married and I am single. It is what it is. Recently I was going home in a cab with a friend of mine after a long night out. I was going to my place. She was going to her place. We shared some laughs in the cab and she told me she was very happy we were friends again now after a period of us not really hanging out talking. Then we both shared jokes about how our first names would sound if we had each other's last names. I don't care who started it. Then she said, "Hey, why don't we just go get married right now, Mayo?" I'm absolutely ducking, refusing to see this as a sign. True story. One time this girl came over to my house. She sat on my bed and said, "You're alone in your bedroom with a girl on your bed." And I was like, yep. That's weird, I juice. Totally clueless. Oh duck, this one hurts. I had a co-worker in a coffee shop I used to work at. Most beautiful girl I had ever met inside and out. I used to joke with one of our mutual co-workers that I would marry her in a heartbeat if I ever got the chance. We became really good friends. Would go on midnight drives. Sing songs the whole time. Go look at the stars while sitting on the roof. We would go get lunch together. And do art in her apartment. Talk for hours and hours about the things in life that others can't share, the whole shebang in retrospect. But I lacked the confidence to ever ask her out formally. I was so afraid that she just valued my friendship, and that by asking her out I would cross some invisible line and lose all that time that I cherished. I never ever made a move. Time passed and she began dating someone else, a goddamn saint of a man, and I fell into a cycle of unfulfilling relationships. Years later I'm talking to our mutual co-worker who I was still friends with. Turns out, after I stopped working there he asked her if she ever liked me in that way. She did. I had a chance with a woman I can now only dream of, and now she's married to the saint. And I am alone typing up one of my deepest and most painful regrets on the internet. Edit. Thanks for the support, internet strangers. I try keep my head up and my heart open. But every once in a while someone types up a question that rips the band-aid off a bit too early, you know? Either way, may love find you and me one day. We all deserve it. There was a girl in college who I had a crush on. One night, she described the type of guy who she's attracted to. She basically just described me. But since my self-esteem was so low at the time, I was like, damn, I wish I was like that. A few days later, my friends were discussing it and they were laughing at me for not making a move. It was actually a huge wake-up call for me to get my mental health together. 12-year-old me was very confused as to why the also 12-year-old niece of my neighbor, one Nancy, wanted to play fairy tale where the princess to kiss the princess to wake her up and, oh, hey, you be the prince and I'll be the princess. 12-year-old was old enough to think, hey, kissing girls gives me a boner, and also old enough that fairy tale roleplay was a little childish. But for whatever reason I was wildly disconnected by what this all meant, so I was like, prince and princesses? Girl, I got a Game Boy. Smell ya later. Miss Grimm. Sorry, Nancy, I know you were hot to trot but it's probably for the best anyway. Well, he sent me a picture of a cute dog that said even upside down you're my whole world. I love you so much, and then added that's true. He also asked what would happen if he'd asked me out. Other time he tried to get my opinion whether getting pizza together would count as a date. There was also that time when he told me I'm the best girl he knows. So yeah, I didn't catch on that. Well, in the end he asked me out and that's when I understood that he kept throwing hints at me. He's an amazing boyfriend. She used to crash in my bed because her dorm was too far away. I really liked her and didn't want to scare her off by taking advantage of her. Thank God she liked dumb. Freshman in college and I was a moron. I heard you like Monty Python. Want to watch it in my room? Thought it was a totally common thing to hear in an American school. Cut to 3 episodes in. She's sitting on my lap, arm around me, and asking me to stroke her legs. The most pressing thought in my mind was she wanted to watch the show, why isn't she paying attention? I don't get it until she asks me if I want to kiss her. I turn her down because I promised my long distance friend I would take her on a date later. Someone gives obvious hints and tells me they love me. Oblivious me who has had to make the first move all the time. I like you, funny words, magic man. 15-year-old virgin me straight up had the hottest chick in school rub her foot up and down my inner thigh under a table in a pub and I didn't bat an eyelid. Too busy thinking about how close I was to finally getting 99 woodcutting on RuneScape and how I couldn't wait to get home to grind the last few levels. She always tried to correct my behavior almost like a mother, but not in a creepy way. And she somehow always managed to be in my general vicinity. I didn't see it at the time, but she would cop an attitude when other girls talked to me. I once had a woman flat out tell me she would swallow every drop, as long as I don't get any in her hair. 20-year-old me thought that was an odd bit of personal trivia and let it slide right by. Missed out on a threesome. Went clubbing with 2 girls. We plowed each other with drinks and grinding all night. When the time came to leave they suggested they crash at my apartment because no trains or taxis. So I ended up piggybacking them for fun on the way to my place. We joked that I could literally feel their bags because they were in skirts. Got home and totally missed out to signs to make a move. Went to bed and left them to their own devices. Only realized about 2 years later when one of them brought it up. Dumbest day of my life. My sister's hot best friend, 23 female, on my 18th birthday, asked if I wanted to go back to the hotel with her. I thought yeah sure okay. Got to the hotel. She mentioned how horny she is. I made a small comment, got up, left and went back to clubbing. I am so dumb. I wish this was a fake story. Went to a girl's house to drop her off after class. Stayed to hang out. Girl told me she was apparently told in the past that she gave really good blowjobs. Then later in the day invited me to her room to hang out. I had recently ended a relationship with another girl that I was pretty hung up on at the time, but good lord was I dense. There was this one time, in the 6th grade, capital I, a straight guy, was talking to my gay friend about getting a few friends together and having some fun at the mall. We were talking by writing stuff down on the calculators. Since we were taking a test at the time, I was like, we could get some friends and to the plaza, and he replied with, how about we go hang out? So I said, yeah, we could get some friends together and go. He then said no. Like justice, and I went, are you sure? I think it would be pretty fun if we went with some people. I didn't get it until like a year later. He's pretty cool, and we haven't talked about it since. Do you have a boyfriend, girlfriend? I smoked cigarettes as a teen. One weekend at the beach I was hanging with a couple of girls I met who also smoked. I thought one of them in particular was very pretty. Later that night she was smoking a cigarette and asked me if I wanted a shotgun. I had just finished a cig, so I declined. Not even considering that she wasn't really offering me second-hand smoke, but rather an excuse for me to make a move. Oblivious. We never did kiss. There was a lot of touching from her. Just general flirtatious behavior. Had another girl even comment on how cute we were. The icing on the cake was her kissing my forehead and saying, I would not want to kiss you in the wrong place. I was way too young when I started college and was way too clueless around girls due to having a pretty itty high school experience.